Welcome back to the channel, where wrestling stories come alive, where every win, loss, and word echoes with emotion, pride, and legacy. Today's story takes us deep into the heart of professional wrestling's most electrifying rivalry, a moment that shook both AEW and NJPW, and left fans buzzing across the globe. It's the story of Konosuke Takeshita's IWGP World Heavyweight Championship victory, and the fiery aftermath that came with it, when an AEW star publicly lashed out at New Japan Pro Wrestling, accusing the promotion of favoritism, disrespect, and hypocrisy. This isn't just about titles or tweets. This is about pride, loyalty, and the thin line between celebration and controversy. Let's dive into the full story, the match, the moment, and the message that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. The moment that changed everything. The scene was electric. Fans inside the Tokyo Dome erupted as Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha of the Future, pinned Zack Sabre Jr. after a grueling 35-minute battle that redefined endurance. When the referee's hand hit the mat for the third time, history was made. Takeshita, representing AEW but competing under the NJPW banner, stood tall with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship held high above his head. It was the moment he had dreamed of since his early days in DDT Pro Wrestling, the moment Japan's wrestling legacy and AEW's global energy collided. But as the confetti fell and cameras flashed, something darker began to stir behind the scenes. While the Japanese media hailed Takeshita's triumph as a new dawn, not everyone was celebrating. Within hours, social media exploded, not with congratulations, but with conflict. The AEW star who spoke out. Back in the United States, an AEW veteran, whose name fans instantly recognized, took to X, formerly Twitter, with a blistering statement. Greater than, respect is earned, not handed out. NJPW has shown where its loyalty lies, and it's not with the wrestlers who built the bridge between our worlds. That message, short but sharp, was from none other than Eddie Kingston, a man known for his raw honesty and unfiltered emotion. The tweet racked up thousands of likes within minutes, but it wasn't the words alone that stung, it was what they implied. Fans quickly connected the dots. Eddie Kingston, who had spent months building AEW's partnership with NJPW, had recently lost a hard-fought match during Forbidden Door 3, a bout many felt he should have won. Now, seeing Takeshita, an AEW talent, being celebrated by NJPW as a conquering hero seemed to push him over the edge. To Kingston, it wasn't just about Takeshita's victory. It was about how NJPW treated AEW's veterans compared to their own chosen stars. A brewing storm between promotions. AEW and NJPW's partnership had always been delicate, built on mutual respect but filled with creative tension. When Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, and Chris Jericho helped bridge the two companies, it seemed like a golden era for international wrestling collaboration. But behind closed doors, egos, booking politics, and scheduling conflicts created cracks in the alliance. Now, with Takeshita's win, those cracks seemed to widen. AEW fans began speculating online that NJPW was using AEW stars to build their own prestige. Meanwhile, Japanese fans countered, saying AEW was too protective of its wrestlers, treating NJPW as a second stage. The online war of words escalated. Hashtags like #AEWVisionJPW, #Respect the Partnership, and #Takeshita Champion started trending. Takeshita's response. Through all the chaos, Takeshita remained calm. In a post-match interview, he said, "Greater than, this championship doesn't belong to one company. It belongs to wrestling. I fight for both worlds, Japan and America." It was a diplomatic answer, but a powerful one. Takeshita's humility stood in contrast to the storm brewing around him. While fans debated allegiances, Takeshita focused on legacy. He credited Don Callis, Kenny Omega, and AEW's fans for supporting his evolution. He spoke of NJPW legends like Okada and Tanahashi as inspirations. And most importantly, he said that wrestling was strongest when unity beats division. Yet, for many, Kingston's words still echoed louder. The fan reactions. Within days, wrestling forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube discussions were overflowing with debates. Was Eddie Kingston right? Was NJPW playing favorites? Or was this all part of a larger storyline, a brewing inter-promotional feud to build future events? Some fans praised Kingston's passion, calling him the voice of real wrestlers. Others accused him of bitterness, saying he was jealous of Takeshita's momentum. AEW loyalists demanded respect for their veterans, while NJPW purists argued that Takeshita's victory was long overdue recognition of Japanese talent. Meanwhile, Takeshita continued to tour Japan, defending his new IWGP title with pride, while AEW commentators carefully avoided mentioning Kingston's outburst during live broadcasts. Tony Khan breaks his silence. When AEW president Tony Khan finally addressed the controversy in a press interview, he chose his words carefully. We value our partnership with New Japan very much. Emotions run high in this business, and sometimes passion comes out in different ways. Eddie's comments come from love for wrestling, love for competition, and love for AEW. Khan didn't condemn Kingston, but he also didn't endorse his criticism. It was a classic move, diffuse the fire without pouring more fuel on it. Still, fans could tell the tension between AEW and NJPW had quietly intensified. A deeper look, AEW vs NJPW philosophy. At its core, the AEW-NJPW tension isn't just about titles. It's about philosophy. AEW's approach celebrates freedom, wrestlers cutting raw promos, creative storytelling, and open collaboration. NJPW's style emphasizes hierarchy, discipline, and legacy. Every match, every belt, every handshake carries generational weight. Takeshita's victory, and Kingston's backlash, symbolized that clash. For NJPW, crowning Takeshita as champion was honoring Japan's next icon. For AEW, it looked like they had lost another piece of their identity to a partner who might not always reciprocate the same respect. And for fans, it reignited an old question: can two wrestling worlds truly share one ring? Eddie Kingston speaks again. After days of silence, Eddie Kingston appeared at an AEW taping. Microphone in hand, he addressed the fans directly. I got no problem with Takeshita. The kid's a beast, but don't tell me to smile when I see respect being one-sided. We bled for this partnership. We carried their flag, and now, when the spotlight hits, they forget who built the bridge. The crowd erupted, not in boos or cheers, but in empathy. They knew this wasn't a scripted promo. It was real emotion, from a man who wears his heart and scars for the world to see. NJPW's response, a statement of pride. Days later, NJPW's official website released a statement that read, "We deeply respect all partners and athletes who contribute to the sport of professional wrestling. Our vision is global, our commitment unwavering. Konosuke Takeshita's victory represents unity, not division." The message was short, diplomatic, and carefully worded, typical of NJPW's PR style. But behind the curtain, insiders reported that officials were disappointed by AEW's handling of Kingston's remarks. For them, public criticism from an AEW star felt like betrayal. Especially after months of cooperation during joint events. The reality behind the storyline. While some fans still wonder if this was a worked shoot, a partially scripted controversy, most insiders confirm it was not. Kingston's frustration was genuine, stemming from creative decisions and personal feelings of being overlooked. But as often happens in wrestling, real-life tension finds its way into storylines. Rumors began circulating that AEW might integrate Kingston's outburst into a future cross-promotional feud, possibly even setting up a Kingston vs Takeshita match at Forbidden Door IV. If true, it could become one of the most emotionally charged bouts in modern wrestling history. Takeshita's legacy continues. Meanwhile, Takeshita's IWGP reign has already begun making waves. He defended the title in Osaka against Shingo Takagi, delivering a match many called a modern classic. He's expected to face challengers from both NJPW and AEW in upcoming months, perhaps even Bryan Danielson or Will Ospreay. Despite all the noise, Takeshita continues to handle the situation with grace. In a backstage interview, he smiled and said, "If people are talking, it means wrestling is alive. Let them talk, I'll keep fighting." What comes next? The aftermath of Takeshita's win may shape the next chapter of AEW-NJPW relations. Behind the scenes, officials are reportedly working to smooth tensions, while writers explore storylines that could turn the controversy into creative gold. If a match between Kingston and Takeshita does happen, it could symbolize more than just competition. It could represent understanding, two men, from two worlds, fighting not just for victory, but for respect. In the end, that's what wrestling has always been about. Final thoughts. When you strip away the tweets, statements, and politics, what remains is simple. Wrestling thrives on passion, passion to win, passion to speak truth, and passion to be heard. Eddie Kingston spoke his truth, fiery, unfiltered, and from the heart. Konosuke Takeshita fought his truth, through discipline, strength, and humility. And somewhere between those two truths lies the soul of professional wrestling itself. Because every title, every rivalry, and every rebuke is just another chapter in the endless story of glory, grit, and greatness.